Welcome to the No Matter What podcast. My name is Sina.
I'm Rafa.
And I'm Shauna.
How you doing, Shauna?
Doing okay.
Yeah?
Pretty good day.
Okay, good.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am originally from the East Coast, mostly Philadelphia, New Jersey. Came out to California, and between here and San Francisco, been here like almost 25 years. So I guess this is my home.
Yeah.
This is your home.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been to treatment before?
I have 4 times.
Okay. Well, what was your experience in treatment?
The first time, I think I was 24, and I didn't know anything about anything, but I thought I did. And I went to like a spin dry kind of like detox, walked out of there, um, overly confident, thinking,
And you know,
I was cured. And I think it was 3 or 4 days later that I relapsed. Then I tried again, and I was now in my late 20s, and pretty much same thing. I spent a little bit longer, but same result. I didn't do any of the suggested aftercare. Uh, and then I went to Cry Help, and sorry.
you're good.
It's all good.
Then I went to treatment in 2014, and I detoxed off of 4 grams of heroin a day. It was a really brutal detox. I spent 12 days in detox. I was really grateful for that because I had nowhere to be sick and helpless for a month. And I just lucked out that I got to go there. But, being lazy and self indulgent and not wanting to do anything that didn't have to do with drugs because that was my life. Um, I went to the residential side and they told me I needed to wash windows. And I was like, I don't wash windows. And then I left. And what happened shortly after was that I got high one more time and I nodded out in a car in a weird position that cut off the circulation to my right leg. And I woke up about 6 hours later. I couldn't move my leg, and it was like pins and needles, like heavy jello, and it just dead weight. Couldn't move it. Really scary. You take for granted that you can move your arms and legs. Yeah, the last drugs I ever did was when I heard the ambulance coming up the hill, and I spent 5 days in the hospital and had to relearn how to walk over the next year. So I got the message at this point. I was like, maybe drugs aren't the answer. Maybe doing more isn't the answer. I was just kind of done. I mean, my hustle was gone. I couldn't walk. I had to listen at that
Reminds me of the
point.
movie Kill Bill.
Yeah.
You ever seen?
Dragging herself
Okay,
to
well,
the
when
car.
she couldn't move.
I mean, I did kind of do that. I rolled out of the car,
Yeah.
and the guy, because he'd been calling me, he's like, where's my car? Because he thought I was off gallivanting around LA with his car. And I was like, I'm in the parking space. And he's like, no, you're not. And he came down, and I was trying to roll out of the car. And then I scooted myself on the concrete up 2 flights of stairs.
Like Kill Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still had 2 balloons, and I don't know, I've
Sheesh.
never thrown away drugs before on purpose, Um, and I was in excruciating pain, and the only thing I knew how to do to get rid of that, was to use more. Um, I scooted myself into the bathroom and barricaded myself against the door, and he was yelling at me, and long ago was my veins used to be good. So I shot in my arm, and then I heard the ambulance and I ate the other piece. And that was on October 9th, 2014. And then in the hospital, I had this like huge moment of clarity. Um, and I prayed for the first time in a very long time. And I said, if anyone is up there and cares about me, please give me what I need, not what I want, because I don't know what I need and everything I want is killing me. So, and I didn't see a bright white light or a burning bush or anything, but the obsession was gone. And now I just didn't know how to live. So,
So you're saying just your legs went numb, you couldn't move, you crawled out, crawled up, went to a restroom, shot up one more time, and then the ambulance got there.
yeah, I was in Mount Washington. So it was up.
Now, the reason I say that is because obviously, I mean, it's just crazy how we go from to extreme lengths to get that last one.
Yeah.
The insanity
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, and for the fact of the matter, just like I'm sitting here listening, you say like crawling and scooting, and then you're like, okay, one more, and it's like
Yeah.
that's crazy,
It is. It's
and
insanity.
I mean, for those that don't believe in a higher power, I mean, golly, I mean that right there definitely. But so now talking about treatment again, like what was your expectation when you first went into treatment, and what was the
Oh.
reality of it?
Well, I was hoping they were going to teach me how to shoot dope like a lady, but turns out they didn't want me to do it at all, which I thought rehab would be a lot easier if I was high, but I don't know. I just didn't know how to function without it, so I didn't really know what I wanted. I just wanted the pain to stop. I think that has always been my problem, is that I just wanted immediate gratification to make the pain stop because I didn't have any other coping skills.
You just said you had the moment of clarity at the hospital, right? A lot of people are naive and think that you have the moment of clarity and poof, that's it. I'm good. What was the moment of clarity like for you?
I mean, I didn't know, the obsession had been removed. Like I said, it wasn't like some bright white light experience, but the girl that I was seeing, she slept in one of those like hospital chair things next to my bed, and I when I got released, I took this long limping uh walking bus ride back to her place, and it would take me forever to get from her apartment to the front so I could smoke a cigarette. And I'm like total Kill Bill style. I'm like dragging my leg, and and I would sit out there, and I had excruciating sciatic nerve pain for like 4 or 5 months.
Mm.
And this guy like came up on a skateboard, and he was like, "Hey, can I use your lighter?" And I handed him my lighter, and he took a hit off a bowl, and then he went and he was like, and I was like, "I'm good." And I took the lighter back, and he rode away. And even though that wasn't like, you know, something I ever really like needed to have, like it was just this, like it wasn't on my radar anymore. I was just, you know, like a hot stove, right? Not
Not
good.
touching it again.
Yeah.
So from that point on, did you stay clean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for the viewers that are watching, how much time do you have?
I have 11 years.
What do you
which
do for
is
work?
So crazy. I am a therapist, which is also very crazy because when I got sober, I had probably a 300 credit score. I had, I think, $12 in food stamps on my card, maybe $5 in cash, and half a pack of cigarettes, a backpack, and a duffel bag. And that's all I own on this planet. And I limped into treatment. I went to a place where I had no cell phone for 6 months, and
It's a good thing.
shoveling rocks and doing chores and eating donation hot dogs, which I don't eat hot dogs anymore because I ate them for like 6 months straight. I'm cool on that. But I was done, but then what next? I don't know how to live, and this place kind of broke me down. and rebuilt me. And suddenly I had a work ethic. I used that as a template, and I was able to like stick it on anything else in life and be successful. Um, she hired me on his staff after 6 months. I worked there and lived there for another 10 months. And then I was so scared that I was going to relapse that I rented a room uh, from a woman in Spanish Al-Anon who lived down the street a block away. So I could walk back to the treatment center. I could talk to the program director. She would say something like pithy to me and I would feel better and I'd walk home. Um, and then I just started working in treatment centers. And in 2017, I started going back to school for addiction studies. I moved to Las Vegas for 2 years. I was a court liaison for drug court, which is
Wow.
insane to come like full circle because
Yeah.
you used to have to catch me,
Mhm.
They never gave me drug court. I was lucky. I didn't get a drug charge, just other dumb stuff. But yeah, and then I came back and I had been going to school this whole time. I got my associates. Then I did my undergrad in psychology. And then I went to grad school for clinical social work. And I'm currently working towards my hours for licensure, which is pretty amazing from where I came from.
So just again for the viewers, because a lot of addicts like to think that we're not going to amount to shit, right?
Yeah.
So we're failures. We're the bottom. We're the scum of the earth, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna for the viewers to hear, you went from being in a car stuck, Kill Bill status,
Mm-hmm.
having to crawl, shooting up in the restroom,
Mm-hmm.
having a moment of clarity, going back to school,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're a therapist.
Yeah.
What a crazy world, right? Like I'm not saying what a crazy. I'm just saying, uh, But it's crazy that you went from sitting in front of a desk to
Mhm.
behind a desk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like and like helping another individual out, just like how those individuals helped you out. So that's it's like a 180.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And we stop using substances and we live our life beyond our wildest dreams.
Absolutely.
You know?
I mean, I came to LA in 2006 and I got arrested 2 hours after coming to LA.
That was quick.
The people that had given me a ride from San Francisco stole all my stuff. I never saw them again. So I got released with $70 in my pocket and the clothes on my back. And I've done pretty good since then.
Good. As you
know,
should.
It's the great American novel, right? It's like the person that against all odds, like overcomes, endures hardships along the way and continues to fight and eventually, makes it.
So I love it here when there's segues. So talk about the hardships. What were some of the hardships that you had to go through recovery and you stayed, as you like to say, sober?
Mhm.
It is the word that I first used and it stuck,
Yeah.
Well, amen.
Don't listen
the
to him.
hardships. Well, I mean, I fell in love. My first sober relationship, which taught me a lot about myself, which taught me a lot about attachment styles, and it brings up a lot of stuff from feeling like you weren't really loved or appreciated as a child. So at first, right, it felt intoxicating almost because love is one of the strongest drugs on the planet.
Sheesh.
And then after 5 years, she cheated on me. So it broke me, but it also made me realize I had made that relationship my higher power. And I had a moment where I felt like drinking. I went to the store and bought a pack of cigarettes instead. I'm going to call that harm reduction. but I had to change my program. I had to level up. I had to, um, just really start leaning into like some prayer and meditation and different types of self care, uh, because I was so focused on that relationship that, I wasn't really taking full care of myself. So that was a good lesson. Um, I ended up working in homeless services when I came back to LA because I was like, well, I don't need to be in Vegas anymore. So I came back and that was another full circle kind of moment, right? Where 'cause I was homeless, in Skid Row in LA and MacArthur Park in
Wow.
Hollywood. So I was homeless all over the place. Um, so there's a lot of like skeletons and, um, you know, women incur people in general, but there's a specific kind of trauma that happens with women who are homeless, who are using, who are vulnerable. Um, and I think my brain, which is always trying to protect itself, like walled that off. And around 6 years, my brain was like, stable enough to now deal with this trauma. Like you'll be able to handle it. Um, and I had a lot of stuff come up for me, and I had to, you know, take care of my mental health. I ended up taking a leave and doing a EMDR
Mm.
like treatment. And I went to groups and individual therapy and EMDR, and I would really like to get certified in that because it really helped me, and I'm the better for it. And I'm able to, I guess, in my work, fully understand what it is like not just to have trauma, but to walk through it and feel like you're able to, restore your functioning. Yes.
So let me ask you this. You talked about trauma. How did trauma impact your recovery?
Mm.
Whew. I mean, I think, you know, I think addiction, it fits the disease model, but it seems to always be precipitated by trauma. And if you didn't have any before, you certainly got some during or after. Um, it's a warning sign, right? It's a trigger saying like, I don't feel good. I'm not happy in my body. Something terrible has happened. But, the answer always became drugs. We didn't learn any other coping skills. What fires together wires together, right? And like even the memory of something, if it's just tied, the response is always drugs, right? That's the well worn path. And I don't know. Trauma is. I think I heard one time this saying that I really like. The difference between pain and trauma is going through it alone. And a lot of people, including myself, had to go through a lot of things alone in the sense that nobody was trying to see if you were okay. And, it starts creating this barrier between you and other people where you start feeling like alone in a crowded room, like people don't understand you. And, the disease, it feeds off of pain, it feeds off of um, self-doubt. It becomes this, like, cyclical thing of, like, I feel bad, so I use drugs, and I feel worse, so I use drugs, and you're more and more isolated, um, and then there really is no one to help you, you know?
So you talked about going through situations and pain alone, right?
Mhm.
What about now in recovery?
I could pick up my phone, and I could call probably 30 people, for a multitude of different reasons. I have, um If if I'm going through it, I know somebody else who's gone through it. I can always call and, um and not just to talk about me, sometimes calling up somebody and just asking how they are, also does the trick, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful thing to have people in your life. I always say I was reparented in this recovery process. I've been able to meet people who filled like a mother, aunt, sister, kind of role. It's been really restorative for me. I didn't speak to my mom for 11 years, and I was not in my daughter's life for 11 years. And it's interesting because I've been back in their life for the last 11 years. And, they are proud of me and respect me. And, when I was out there, I had one person, my road dog, Steve, and we just made sure each other was never sick. That was our relationship. It was, um, it was an important bond, because I didn't wanna be sick, and I needed at least one person to care if I, lived or died, but I really didn't think, um, anyone else cared, and I was pretty sure if I, overdosed and died somewhere that it would probably take a little while for them to tell my mom and that my daughter um, would never know me except that this story about how I disappeared and died. And now, like, she just came out to visit me. She's 28. She's like bubbly and goofy, and she loves me and she loves calling me mom. She calls my mom, mom, and she calls me mom too. And I don't, when I'm talking about my mom, I'm like, our mom, mom, I'm not sure. But, it was a pain I held and I used at my mom for a long time, you know. Um, but after doing a lot of work on myself, I had to admit, like, I was on drugs. I was not able to raise a child, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, family, friends, community support is amazing. It's night and day.
So how's your life now?
It's great. I live in this cool 100-year-old building that has original wood floors and big windows. And I'm working on a second master's. I don't know if I'm doing school alcoholically, but again, could be worse. Um, I have a partner that I'm really in love with, and it's a healthy relationship. We're so like focused on it being healthy that we talked about going to therapy before there was issues to like make sure we built really good communication, which like that's pretty night and day from where I used to be, screaming and throwing things and just not being emotionally regulated or being around people that were safe, you know?
I still I love how I say this all the time. I love how earlier I was talking about how people that are in recovery initially when we're out there running and gunning and stealing and manipulating and you know how when we actually put work into it, when we work into fixing ourselves,
Mhm.
how we could just 180 that. I mean,
Mhm.
being from I mean, just with our stories here, I mean, I know I was pretty bad when I
Mhm.
was growing up, and the whole 80 from me coming back to LA as well, and, helping my mother and my aunts, being from the house that I originally used to rob them from their jewelry, money, their sanity, their peace of minds, now
Yeah.
coming back and helping them just keep the house in order. I mean, this program thing is a beautiful thing if we allow it to be.
Yeah.
I mean, but it does come with work.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people come into and we say it all the time. When we people that come into treatment, they think treatment is the recovery part.
Mhm.
Treatment's not recovery.
People think
Treatment is
treatment.
keeping you safe from you while you make better choices.
I think people when they come to treatment nowadays, they think that treatment is a hotel.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
A
as much as
revolving
yeah, as much
door.
as yeah,
Earlier today, I was talking about like they think this is a summer camp, and they're like, "It's not a summer camp." Yeah, it is. It's summer camp. It's a glorified summer camp.
I don't
You
know.
guys have nice rooms. You guys have PlayStations and your phones and
I
cooked
needed to be told if
breakfast.
I didn't like it, go kick rocks.
yeah, and I know what kind of facility you went
Yeah,
to. And I like that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And
well,
and we
those are different facilities for sure.
Yeah.
we were actually talking about this in one of our in another episode. Not
But
one, not one.
no,
No, no, no. It's one is his, and he basically references
no,
episode one.
Oh, you're referencing
Yeah,
yourself
yeah.
I
now?
did not. He just did. I was just,
Your
but
No,
ego is not. I'm sorry.
my ego is not my amigo. I
Yes,
understand
yes.
that.
I have to tell
Yes,
them
I
that every
understand
day,
that.
every hour. But no, we were talking about it, and you know, I wish that this was one of those facilities. I
Yeah.
wish that I can talk to people or
Mm,
like sponsees or like people in recovery. That hey, if you don't like it, you can leave.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want recovery, don't worry,
you're
you're
not
not
gonna
gonna
get
get
it.
it.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to put the footwork in your process of recovering from your substances.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I heard a saying when I first got clean, if the elevator doesn't work, take the
Steps.
steps.
Hmm.
And I was like, man, I'm gonna call the elevator company and be like, you need to come fix this. I ain't taking no steps, and I started understanding what that meant.
Yeah.
Like if it doesn't work, if what you're doing that brought you into this position
Gotta switch it
doesn't
up.
work, then maybe you should try something different.
Yeah.
And the generation now of these addicts coming into treatment or coming into a recovery based program like a 12-step program. um they're so like guarded. They're so
Hmm.
guarded, and then on top of being guarded, like you give them a suggestion, they'll do the opposite
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? But I bet you money if I was the dope man and I said, "Hey, I need you to go here," you ain't gonna ask any questions. You're gonna do it
Hmm.
to get your substances.
Yeah.
So it's like, why have that? Why fight? And why fight something that's gonna save your life?
Because it hurts.
It's that uncomfortability,
Yeah.
you
You
know?
have to be willing to wear your authentic face, do the footwork, stay out of the results, and like willing to be uncomfortable. Like if you're not, your desperation has to be higher than your pain, your embarrassment, your unwillingness. Like it has to be so strong that you are willing to do anything for it.
Absolutely.
You know, I always say like, I heard it somewhere. I'm sure you probably heard it too. Uh, recovery is not for people that want it. It's not for people that desperately need it. It is only for people that do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you have to drag your body kicking and screaming if you if you have to, and your mind will eventually catch up. But you have to get into action. You have to force. And it's like if you have a community of people and they're all doing the same thing, it is so much easier to move as a unit. It's
Foundation.
like a big plane, like in a little plane following in its drift and using less fuel to go. It's like you can get carried by the momentum and lifted up by other people when you don't feel like you can walk, you know?
Yeah. It's building that foundation.
Yeah.
It's building that trust. Like we spoke about this a while ago. I don't I don't hang out with people that go to bars. I don't hang out with people that smoke weed. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I can't. I
Mhm.
choose. Sorry, I can. I choose not to.
Yeah.
Right? If I want to be a successful person, I'm gonna hang out with successful
Mhm.
individuals.
Yeah.
Right? And and that's just how it is.
Mhm.
Like my contact list is people in the 12-step fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't have anyone other than my immediate family, my mom, my dad, my aunts, my brothers, and like that. But other than that, like I surround myself with people that are here for a reason to get
Mm-hmm.
help. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So um that's just fucking how it is.
I mean, I I don't wanna kiss alcohol, so I've not dated anybody that's not sober,
Imagine.
and
Try to.
I like having a process to which if my feelings are hurt,
You're good.
good lord, if my feelings are hurt, I can bring that to the other person, and there's a system in which they are going to hear it and, receive it and be able to process it and have a response to me.
I like that you said that because, a situation happened to me this morning, with me and my wife.
Mhm.
Our daughter came into our bed and was like, "I'm not going to school. I don't want to go to school." And, we talk to her, we don't say, "No, you have to go to school and
Mhm.
that's it," and put my foot down. No, like, why? What's going on?
Right.
And we came up with a solution, right? There's a solution to every single problem that we have.
Mhm.
And I said, "Hey, like, I'll take you to school." She goes, "Okay, sounds good." Right? So she goes downstairs. I went to the bathroom and, the person that's taking our kids to school, didn't like I didn't, relay the I didn't relay the message. So
Mhm.
so there was lack of communication on my end, right? And she left. They left. So she started crying, and I got a phone call from my wife saying, "Hey, why didn't you take her to school?" I said, "My love, when I went to the bathroom to get ready to go to work and I came downstairs, she was nowhere to be found.
Mhm.
Like, don't make it seem like I don't want to take her to school."
Mhm.
And her response was, "Hey, I apologize that it came off that way, and I'm sorry." And you
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like that's what we can do
Yeah.
today, right?
Yeah.
So for me to tell, you know, someone that's not in recovery, like, "Hey, you hurt my feelings," that individual's gonna be like, "I don't give a fuck." Like, I don't give a fuck that your feelings are hurt, like, get over it. But if I say that to someone that's in recovery, they'll look at the situation and see their part and see if they made a mistake, and they will clean their side of the street up,
Yeah.
you
We
know?
have a different lens that through which we look at life. I will say I have a mixture of, sober and like normies and, you know, gay and straight and young and old. I don't know. I collect people who are of substance who want to better their lives, whatever that looks like for them, who are creative, who are like enjoying life. Because I know I did not get sober to be miserable. I could do
Mm.
that out on the street. So, I do, most of my friends are sober, but it doesn't bother me anymore to go to like a dinner party. It always baffles me how like my friends will drink like 2/3 of a glass of wine and then like that's it.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it's like
But
I
yet
don't.
but yet I'm over here drinking, whatever they drank, and then I'm running butt naked down the street, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how it is.
I mean, we're all gas and no brake,
Yeah.
right? We don't have a governor on that. So I know it's not for me, and I've learned that lesson, and I'm strong enough in my recovery. I have a sponsor. I meet with her every Tuesday for an hour. I can call her anytime I'm feeling like crunchy. And I have sponsees, and it 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 makes it your own when you teach it to somebody else. And you know, I go to my meetings and I live my life and I'm free from, waking up dope sick and like having to
Mm.
like chew a Klonopin or do a shot or drink some like warm Cisco and like smoke some crack and like, I mean, just this insatiable need,
More, 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 more.
more, more, more. I I wake up to the junk sick dawn. I wake up to absolute need. That's Burroughs quote. It's the monster. I call her the crazy lady in the attic. And she used to take up my whole head. She used to be super, super loud. And she's shrunk down, and she's like in the back. But if I don't do the things to maintain, this balance, this equilibrium of, emotional and spiritual sobriety, then she can get big. And if somebody pokes at me a little bit too much, she can get a little, you know.
Well,
Oh, jumpy.
yeah, I mean, and that's I think for a lot of us that have a good amount of clean time or sobriety, I think it's normal for us to just get, I don't want to say lazy as far as what we need to do for our recovery, but we start feeling like, I like to look at it like my disease is, if my disease is always going to try to tell me not to do something
Oh
based for my
yeah.
recovery,
Yeah.
right? So like one day I'll get up and I'll be like, oh, I don't want to go to a meeting because so and so, or this, I'm tired, longer day. So for me, it's like the easiest thing that I like to do is to just do the opposite of what my head tells me to do.
Absolutely.
For me,
Absolutely.
it is the opposite. Like, because my first thought, and I say this a lot, my first thought is still not the right thought.
Yeah.
It's still not the best one.
Yeah, if you simply just say yes to the no's and no to the yeses, like your life just starts getting better. It's like somebody is like, "Do you want to go out to eat with us?" And I'm like, "No." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, let's go."
Yeah.
And now I'm like creating community, And then, any like wonderful ideas that I have, I tell on myself. That's one of the biggest tools that, because sometimes just the act of saying it out loud, you're like, oh, that does sound pretty crazy. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But keeping counsel from trusted people.
I had a old sponsor who used to tell me, I would call him and I would tell him, I'll basically be bitching or venting or whatever it is. And he would tell me, you're so smart, you're stupid. And I'll be like, what the hell do you mean by that? And he goes, because basically when you're calling me and you're venting and you're telling me the problem, the solution is in that, and you're telling me the solution, but you don't even hear it.
Yeah.
So for a lot of it is we just need to hear it. Sometimes we just need to hear it, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I try to simplify everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really try to keep my program, my recovery simple. The simplicity of it for me is key.
Mm-hmm.
Because as addicts, I know me, and I know all of us. I mean, we complicate the fuck out of it. It's a simple program, complicated people.
Yeah.
Try to reinvent the wheel, so to say.
Yeah,
Like try to
exactly.
work different steps to different areas. Is like, no, like I just keep it simple.
Yeah.
As long as I don't pick up, put anything in my body, I'll be okay.
I mean, and for me, obviously, as a therapist, like I strongly believe that, um, therapy and, working a recovery program, like, need to be done in concert with each other if at all possible. But, not everybody has the luxury of paying for therapy. So, some things are for fun and for free, but if you can get to a place in your life where you are stable enough to be able to, afford therapy, or it's been gifted to you in some way, right? You got to heal that trauma because it might take you out. There's uh, different mental traps that we can fall into, and like the self-pity and we can totally get stagnant. I feel like every 5 years you have to like level up, like it's a video game. Like you it's like, well, was working for you before, you got to add something to it. But like 9.5 years, I had another reckoning where like I had to really add more to my recovery, and take time to just be. I think sometimes, like, I'm just like go 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 go. That being still is still hard for me. So working on stillness has been something um, that that's my new thing.
You know what? Earlier, it's funny you said, because I love that. I love that. I could actually sit still and not do a motherfucking thing, and I'm okay with that. And it's crazy because in the beginning, it's like, oh, an addict alone is an addict in dangerous territory. For me, it's like I'm okay with being. I'm okay, and it's not for the sense of like I like fuck everybody.
Mhm.
Just I'm okay with being with self now. It's crazy how you could go from just being when you're being by yourself, where you're saying how like being in a meeting and you feel like you're the only one there,
Mhm.
But I'm okay with that now. Like when you do the work, I mean, it shows. You know.
For me, it's like I'm in school. I sponsor. I go to meetings. I work full time. I have a partner that I like to see. I have to like schedule time to just be me and like regroup because I'll get burnt out if I don't do that. And I have to schedule in a way where I'm not sitting there feeling guilty that I have to like do all these things because that's not enjoying being still, you know. So it's a practice, right? We have to keep so everything is a practice,
Yeah.
you know.
I love
I
that.
I practiced destroying my life and now I'm practicing saving it.
I love
Yeah.
that because I mean
Yeah.
it's funny a lot of things because I use I'm a sports guy. I love sports, so I use that as sports
Ugh.
analogy all the time. It's
Sports ball.
practice. It's practice. The greatest athletes in the world did not become the greatest athletes of
Yeah.
the world overnight. They practice that.
Yeah.
And it starts by every morning making the conscious decision that, you know what, today I'm going to do this.
Mhm.
Like when I first got clean, like I had sticky notes all over my rooms with like positive quotes and positive affirmations.
I love that for
So I
you.
could read it. So I could, like if I'm in there brushing my teeth, I see something, just one day at a time or don't pick up no matter what, just and
You're
everywhere. And
enough.
yeah, like I shit you not, it was like and as corny as that shit is,
It's
that shit
it's
helps.
wonderful, it does.
Yeah, I
Your
get
brain
it.
doesn't know the difference
Exactly.
it's like, this is the supercomputer, right? And you've uploaded software that, like, predicts negative outcomes, that runs on misery, and we do have to, like, recalibrate and figure out a way to prioritize positivity, to see good in things, to have, an outcome that seems like it's worth fighting for, you know?
My algorithm in my Instagram is all positive quotes, positive affirmations, positive things, because I'm still sick. I could let my mind go there.
Mhm.
Trust me. I mean, people think that, oh, no, I'm still sick. I just know that if I continue to think negatively, then I'm going to act negatively.
Yeah.
If I continue to think positive, positive will follow.
Yeah.
Positive affirmations for me are key in my life.
The the roots of discouragement cannot take root in a grateful heart.
Mm.
If you stay in gratitude, right? Happiness is wanting what you have, not like always beyond reach, right? And when you really appreciate what you have and you start off small in the beginning, all I wanted was like I was happy I had a bed to sleep in and a warm shower and you know and then it grows, right? I found this like God box that I had made in treatment. It was all smashed and I was moving and I like sat down on the floor and I opened it up and the things that I wanted, it made like tears run down my face. It was like for the pain to stop, to know my daughter, to have a place to live, to have a job. I've been so overpaid. At the time, right, we can't see down the street and around the corner, but if we keep walking in that direction, and keep believing and having, people that are like cheerleaders around you that are telling you you can make it, like you'll get there and it'll be a life beyond your wildest dreams. Cause I didn't know it was going to get this good. And I wish I could go back and like, shake myself and be like, it's going to be okay. But at the end of the day, I needed the struggle, right? There's beauty in the struggle. I needed
Mm.
to become, you know, uh, to sharpen myself against things. So I am I'm capable of living this life.
I like how you just said that, I have a saying for myself. I remember the days where I was getting loaded that I prayed for the life that I have today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that I don't know where I would be if I never used substances or drugs or whatever,
Yeah.
but I know the life that I have today is incredible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we go through a lot of no matter what. You know what I mean? Like a lot of no matter what. And you know, I'm currently gonna be going through a no matter what on Monday. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And like
Hmm.
my mentality, my disease of addiction, right, is like so fucking in my head
Yeah.
that it's like if shit goes sideways, I'm gonna fuck someone up. You know what I mean? Like, or you know what I mean? Like I
Don't
can't
they know we're filming?
I can't
Please.
I mean, I don't know. I can't really disclose, like, you know what I mean? Like, what my
Yeah.
mind is saying, but it's like, it's so fucked.
Yeah.
It's like it's like going negative 0 to 100, you know what I mean? And just like recently, my wife's shared at a meeting or led a meeting on Monday, and, it hit me. Like, it hit me that on Monday, like, this coming Monday, my daughter's gonna go into surgery,
Yeah.
and, like, tears just started pouring. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she's, like, just pouring. She's 2 months,
You
you know?
needed that though. You're holding it for
And, like, yeah, I am holding it, but at the same time, like, I'm 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 deteriorating.
yeah.
You know what I mean? When a fruit goes bad, like, I feel like that's what's happening to me, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And, like and I see that, um, aggression no, just falling
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been going to bed at like 2 AM, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
it's just like the idea of like going to sleep and like waking up and like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's very difficult, and I don't know what's gonna happen. It's like the fear of the
Yeah.
unknown,
The fear of the unknown.
you
But
know?
like what I do know is that you'll always have people around you. I saw the most heartbreaking thing. There was a man that used to come to, or I used to go to his meeting. I'm sure he still goes to it. Uh, his wife and his son were killed in a car wreck, and like he went to meetings, and we brought him meals, and he stayed sober. And I had never seen anything like it.
I think a lot of trauma and PTSD is like popping up for me because uh my brother, my oldest brother, I believe I don't want to say for sure, but he died at this age.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So like I have a lot of like trauma
Mhm.
around this area, and now like it's my own, right? Like
Right.
like like my own. You know, I don't know how parents, you know, survive after a loss. And I don't even want to go there, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying like
Yeah.
that's what's scaring me.
Yeah. That's what starts to
You know what I
come.
mean? And
Yeah.
it's like it's not even creeping. It's coming 0 to 100
Yeah.
quick,
Yeah.
and it's like hitting me like a bulldozer,
Yeah.
and it sucks. It sucks. But I do, like you said, like I do have a good foundation,
Yeah.
like I have a plan. Like my sponsor is staying at our house. You know what I mean?
That's
Like, you know
amazing.
what I mean? Like I have men and women that reach out to me and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, are you okay?" Like they saw me at the meeting on Monday, and they saw how I was in distress, and they took it upon themselves to reach out to me and be like, "Hey, like, are you okay? Like, is there anything that I can do to help you?"
And that's what's so beautiful, right? It's like, I was suspicious in the beginning, like,
Yeah.
why are you being so nice to me? What do you want? What's your angle? Right. But like people in recovery have been through so much pain, and just like the joy of living and being kind and being caring to one another. I mean,
And not wanting anything in return.
Not wanting
Yeah.
anything in return.
Not wanting a single thing in return. I
But
remember I got
getting love.
yeah. I remember when I had my hip surgery. I mean, I had people bringing me food
Mhm.
and leaving it at the door, or some going to the kitchen and cooking me and my son dinner so we could have food. And
That's
I mean,
nice.
nowhere else,
Yeah.
nowhere else.
Not that I've ever experienced,
Yeah,
you know.
no.
Um yeah, I love my life today, and I love who I am today. And if it took every shred of effort and endurance of pain and the trauma that it took to get here, I'm okay with it.
Um, what what would you tell someone right now that is watching that feels hopeless?
I spent a lot of years feeling hopeless, feeling stuck, feeling alone, feeling like I don't there's like a learned helplessness from addiction in a way. It takes a physical toll. It might have a withdraw effect that is terrifying, but like baby elephants, they put a rope around its neck and tie it to a post, and it tries to get away, and it can't. Um, and then as the elephant grows big, like it could rip the post and pull the whole house down. But it was trained that it couldn't get away. So it stays, you know. You have the strength, and there will be people out there that will support you. You just have to be brave enough and vulnerable enough to ask for help, and know that that rope is breakable. You have the strength to do it, you know. Uh yeah, it gets dark. It gets really dark and scary out there. Um but yet our brain still prioritizes, the predictability as safety, of the pattern against the scary unknown, right? Like in that unknown is your life that's waiting for you. That's like, I mean, the pendulum is swung real wide for me, you know. Um, I have when I'm on my deathbed, I will say I have experienced like the full gamut of the human experience, and I think that people that, have really gone through it are really joyous. They love their life, and they want to help other people get there. So that hopelessness can become hope. But I understand that it can be a dangerous thing, right? Because if somebody, dangles something in front of you and then takes it away, right, it can make people closed off and feel um, even more alone. But I have not had that experience coming into recovery. Um, Everyone has just covered me with love and told me I could do it, and it's made all the difference in the world, you know?
So we always like to end up with this question. It's our last question.
Alright, lay it on me.
All right. The name of our podcast is No Matter What.
Yeah.
What does no matter what mean to you?
Um, it means that if the worst possible thing, the thing that would break your heart, the thing that would from the irritation of, like, I don't know, having a fight with somebody, to losing them, to losing your job, to having a death of somebody that you love, like, to pick up, the phone and not, to go to a meeting and not get loaded. Because I don't know anything on this planet that cannot be made worse by pouring some alcohol on it or, you know, smearing it with drugs, right?
Yeah.
Like it will only be made worse if I do that. And
Yeah.
if any one of us does that.
Yeah. It's an honor and privilege to have you on this podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's you're the most incredible individual that I've met. That I don't really trust therapists, but you, my friend, I do trust. You know, and I appreciate you for coming out.
Thanks.
For the
Look
viewers,
smart, street smart.
for the viewers, if you or your loved one are struggling, there's links in the description down below. If you don't feel that you would like to call those individuals, please leave a comment down below and one of us will get back to you. Peace and love.